of course, the inimitable, iconic sound of Miss Lou. Welcome back to Sunrise. It's been 4 years since the landmark event in the world of travel and cultural exchange. Nigerians Travel Tour Company NTTC proudly launched its first ever direct flight from Nigeria to Jamaica in December 2020. This initiative not only opened new travel routes but also forged stronger bonds between the two vibrant cultures, creating a pathway for future connections between the Caribbean and West Africa.
But why is direct air connectivity between Africa and the Caribbean so important? And how is Afreximbank helping to make these direct flights a reality? Founder and CEO of NTT Global Destinations, Ms. Elizabeth Agbula, joins us via Zoom with the details. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
Okay.
Very well, in the Christmas spirit.
Yes, I love that. I love that. I first want to get started with just finding out a little bit about your journey and also just, what you do at NTT Global Destinations.
Okay. So what I do at NTT Global Destinations, I'm the CEO and founder, and I manage up to 6 to 7 other companies under NTT Global, catering to different sector of tourism, trade, and cultural diplomacy, let's put it that way. So I would focus on what matters, which is the company that did the direct flights in 2020, Nigeria's Travel 2, which was really how we started. We just became Entity Global 2 years ago, let's put it that way. So I had the team, and in 2020, I had the opportunity, let's put it that way, in a very unplanned manner to connect the two regions. It was just let's just do it. And I think at the time, myself and the Jamaican High Commissioner, Ambassador Esmond Reed in Nigeria, we didn't actually realize how huge it was. Neither did we realize how important. We knew that, strong historic connection, but I think reality hit us after the flight came into Jamaica, and it became a case of the hunger for more, the strong umbilical cord needing a connection, and we're out here like, okay, let's keep trying. And every year we try to do something, it's not happening. And it's us going back to the drawing board to know that, okay, this is not happening because it's not a thing a couple of people can do. It's a heavily financially draining project. And without people with the capacity, let's put it that way, because even commercial banks can't do this. It's what investment banks can do, not commercial banks, because it has low ROI. It's not what you can see your money in a year. It's a thing where you can see your money after the second year. So as you know how commercial banks work, they don't have the capacity for longer term financing. So I would say financing has been a thing that has made this thing so slow that we've not been able to succeed since 2020.
Yeah. Well, so of course, based on what you're saying, the direct connection between Africa and the Caribbean is important. But what do you think? What do you see as the long-term benefits for having a self-sustaining travel infrastructure?
Okay, the benefits are huge. I don't even know. Do you have time? So I would start with the fusion and collaboration in our culture, in our creative industry, in our entrepreneurs, and even in tourism. So when you come to Nigeria, for example, you would hear some similar words that you already know in Jamaica. And you're like, I know that word because of the similarities we share, because it's just two bodies. It's just like two bodies, a soul in two bodies. So it's like a continuation. So the opportunities in the fusion in business, in even the culinary side of things, I don't see why jerk chicken is not going with jollof rice right now. And it's beyond Nigeria. We're talking about Ghana, we're talking about Sierra Leone, we're talking about Senegal, all of the coast where one person or the other could have at least 1 or 3% of their DNA traced to. There's nothing as important as knowing where your origin is. as much as it's an uncomfortable conversation, the transatlantic slave trade, but we can't deny how it's a huge part of the Caribbean, and as well as even us in Nigeria, because there's always that thought of, why does this person look like me? There's always that thing. So us having a direct connectivity, not to say that we can't go through UK or US or others, but us having ours is us really having our own destiny in our hands.
Yes.
That, and that's what the real idea of empowerment for our two region is. Then we can determine our own trade conversation. We can determine what the cargo is. We can determine what because bilateral agreements are easier as well when we have our own flights. But without our flights, you would always have to think about the passage country before you can make decisions.
Truly.
So even as important as things like that, so with such connection, things will be cheaper. Like what I'm wearing now, I'm wearing Ankara fabric. For you to get this in Jamaica, to go from Nigeria to the UK, that's one cost. It will go from the UK to Jamaica, that's two costs. So you're going to be buying this for maybe times 3 or 4. Whereas if it was a straight flight, you're getting the product right there. You're getting the food right there. So the opportunities are immersed. It cuts the third party, it cuts the middleman, let's put it that way. But the question is, does everyone see it this way?
Yes.
And also, you know, we mentioned Afreximbank earlier. I'm curious to know about what kind of support Afreximbank is giving to these airlines to make these direct flights a reality.
Okay, so Afreximbank has not yet, let's put it that way, given anything specifically to anyone. But this is what I know, and I know this because I know they've been working on a fusion between the two regions, because Afrexim is like the Bank of Africa, let's put it that way, a bank that has all African countries as members. And in the last 3 years, they've taken on the African diaspora as part of their members. So they're extending their reach to CARICOM. I know most have signed, maybe 2 or 3 countries haven't signed yet. So the third African Caribbean Investment Summit that they did was in the Bahamas. I was one of their speakers. So that is why I can give this firsthand conversation about the effort they're putting into ensuring Africa and the diaspora as a fixed region is being reinforced and strengthened. So in the question of are they supporting airlines, I'm not aware of anything official that any airline is doing. As far as I know, most airlines wouldn't really do this as a business because, as I said in the beginning, this is something that doesn't have an immediate ROI, and it's a responsibility more than a business. It has to be done by a company or a person who sees this as a responsibility to connect the two regions. That is what I know Afrexim is doing under the leadership of Professor Benoit Orama. They're doing a lot. They're trying to create the bridge, let's put it that way, and I would be supporting them through that. Prior to now, we never thought about sourcing investment funding for a sustainable path. So we're not even saying we want to be an airline. We're saying we want to be a leisure charter that caters to the movement of people and the movement of goods, at least on a weekly basis. And I know when we then have the data and we have the proof of demand, then more airlines will come up. No airline wants to do the work, which we have started by doing that first flight 4 years ago. So that's like the first part. You know, when you're about to do a project, you have to have a preparatory facility, and it starts with you throwing water and money everywhere to see how it works. So that work is what airlines don't want to do. It's not like it's not there. The demand is there. But it's a question of why are we chasing Africa and Caribbean when we could keep making our money from the US and other routes?
Well, Elizabeth, I love your vision for the future of travel between the two regions, and I really hope that, you know, soon we'll even have a JTT, Jamaican travel too. Hello.
Yes.
I love this, and I really hope that we get to see this unfold and really,
Yes,
really
come to
happen.
fruition,
Because
yes.
what you're saying is absolutely spot on and right. And thank you so much for being here this morning and giving us a wealth of
Thank you for having me.
information and something to really think about. That was
Yeah.
Elizabeth Agbula, founder and CEO of Nigerians Travel to Global Destinations. We throw things over to TK for the morning news right after these messages. I love that.